Number one, the notion of God's sovereignty in the mind of John Calvin was still impaled on the Hellenistic notion of the demiurge. In John Calvin's Concerning the Eternal Predestination of God, he says, quote, "It is therefore wicked and calumnious to say that I make the fall of man one of the works of God. But how it was ordained by the foreknowledge and decree of God, what man's future was without God being implicated as associate in the fault as the author or approver of transgression, is clearly a secret so much excelling the insight of the human mind that I am not ashamed to confess ignorance. Far be it from any of the faithful to be ashamed of ignorance of what the Lord withdraws into the glory of his inaccessible light. I prescribe nothing to others but what comes out of the experience of my heart. For the Lord is my witness, and my conscience attests it, that I daily so meditate on these mysteries of his judgments, that curiosity to know anything more does not attract me. No sinister suspicion concerning his justice steals away my confidence. No desire to complain entices me." So here we see that John Calvin was still operating under the auspices of Platonic demiurge. The obvious ancient Near Eastern answer to this conundrum: why is it that if God causes sin, decrees sin to happen in the world, that he's not implicated and held responsible for human sin? The answer to this conundrum is very easy on the ancient Near Eastern worldview. Might makes right. The reason why God is not implicated, even though he causes sin, even though he determines and decrees that men sin, the reason why he's not implicated and is not responsible is because there's no one above God to hold him responsible. There's no one mightier than God to hold him responsible, to implicate him. The biblical notion of the origin of morality is might makes right, which we read in Job 38-40, a horse I have beaten here many times. If might makes right, and no one is mightier than Jehovah, then the possibility of God being implicated is precluded. Only in the Platonic worldview are there principles above God that he is accountable to. Now, Calvinism proper is ancient Near Eastern philosophy. But the man John Calvin and a lot of his students are still impaled in Hellenistic philosophy.